It's that time of year where a girl just needs to make pumpkin everything, so I planned to start this vlog after work and I completely forgot. Everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. It's that time of year where a girl just needs to make pumpkin everything, so I planned to start this vlog after work and I completely forgot because I was so busy making pumpkin curry and now I've got pumpkin muffins in the oven. It's now 9. I've been doing cooking for I guess 4 hours? Yeah, because I was done work by 5. Doesn't feel like 4 hours, but loads of cooking done, loads of dishes done, and now it's time to get to the fun part of the evening. I'm going to start some reading, and I am so glad to be sitting down on the couch because there's nothing like 2 loads of dishes to make you realize that your sink is just like a couple inches too low. Anyways, you don't need to hear me complain about my back. You want to hear me talk about what I'm going to read. I've not been making great progress with my reading this month. I'm partway through The Witch by Ronald Hutton. I think I'll talk about that at some point this weekend. I am enjoying it. It's just very slow and it puts me to sleep. And also I've been busy and kind of tired this week anyway, so it's slow going. But very good. I'm going to continue reading that. This evening, however, I want to start Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I mentioned in my October TBR, which will be up here somewhere, that I'm doing a buddy read with Michelle Lexi for that one, and I am so excited. And also, I feel like it's going to be more fast-paced. I'm really hoping that it's going to be kind of gripping and one of those books that pulls me in and I read 2 hours without noticing it, as opposed to one of those books where reading 2 hours feels like 4. Which is sort of the case with The Witch. Anyways, Rebecca, you guys all know the drill with this book. Everyone has read it except me, apparently, and from your comments on my TBR, you all love it, which has me so excited and so looking forward to starting. I don't really know what to say to introduce it that you probably don't already know. Second wife, mysterious fascination with first wife Rebecca. Don't really know the tone of the book. I guess I'm going to explore that in this vlog. I'm really keen to get reading, so I will check back in with you once I've read a couple chapters maybe. I've read 5 chapters of Rebecca, which is about 10% of the book, so I've actually made really good progress. I definitely feel like this is one I'm going to read more quickly. It's one that's going to be a bit more engaging. I think it's going to be a lot easier to sit down and just read for hours, so that's fantastic. Exactly what I need in a book right now. I think that's exactly what I'm going to need this weekend as well. We've got a lot of stuff planned and I definitely don't think loads of big blocks of time where I can really just work at a book. I want something that's going to carry me along a bit more, and I think Rebecca is going to do that. I'm already so fascinated about so many elements of this book. I love how it opens in the future with the narrator reflecting on the past. So we very much have this sense, and I knew this vaguely going in, but there's such a strong sense of everything is leading towards some climactic and life-altering event, clearly based on the first couple chapters. But I have no sense right now what that event is going to be. I have no sense of what is going to happen in the intervening chapters that are going to bring us to the point where the book starts, and I love that. Sorry, this is bouncing around so much on my knee. So that's great. I love that. I also am loving the narration. I don't know if this book has an unreliable narrator or not, but the way it is narrated makes me very, very aware of the fact that we're seeing everything from her perspective. And I mentioned this in my voice message to Michelle, but I don't know how to talk about the narrator for this book because as far as I know, we never actually learn her name. She's just always Miss De Winters or the second Miss De Winters. So that's a fascinating point in and of itself, right? We are seeing everything from this woman's perspective and we don't even know who she is. But also the way she describes herself, the way she describes Maxim de Winters, it all just feels very much like a very specific person's view. I don't know if the view that she has of herself reflects accurately in how other people would perceive her, or if that's her internalized view, if that makes sense. Like, you guys probably have barely noticed that I've got a pimple on my forehead, but for me, that's such a like, oh my god, it feels like a giant red circle on my forehead, right? It feels sort of like that. Is her hair actually so limp as she keeps describing it, or is that just her own insecurity? And conversely, what would an outside observer describe Maxim de Winter as? Because her perspective, again, feels very biased. Oh, I'm really excited about this. I'm really looking forward to continuing reading it. So I'm really glad that, like, you know, we're allowed to go out of the house and do things and see people again. Don't get me wrong, that's fantastic. But also, wow, I'm going to have to reassess vlogging because it's 6 p.m. and I figured you guys didn't want to see me have lunch with my grandparents, drop my sister off at a train station, and then reseal the caulking in our bathtub. And that's what I've been doing all day. But, like, man, I've gotten used to having so much free time. It's evening now, though, and we've ordered pizza, but we're just gonna have, like, chill hobby time because, as I said, we've been going all day, and now we're ready to relax. So, for me, that is just going to be reading more of Rebecca. I am definitely gonna read some of The Witch later. I have to remember to talk about that book because I do have thoughts about it, and I do want to share them here, but for now, I just want to get into Rebecca a bit more, so that's what I'm gonna do. I just rambled on Voxer for, I think, 7 minutes about 5 chapters of Rebecca, so guys, it's going well. I am loving Rebecca. It is so interesting. I'm finding the character stuff really fascinating. I haven't been so engrossed with the narrator and, like, the main character of a book. I was gonna say in a long time, but that's not true because I've been super into the Murderbot Diaries lately, and I've been definitely into the main character of that, but there's something about the way the narrator in Rebecca is written and the way she interacts with the world and the way we see things that I am just living for. There are just so many interesting elements at play, and I don't even know how to talk about them. I'm like a third of the way through the book now, and it's great. I guess it's not too spoilery to say that I'm really glad that this isn't a romance. That sounds weird, but what I mean is I don't get the feeling that I'm supposed to be reading this book and falling for their love story and feeling like the narrator and Maxim are a great couple that I'm really rooting for, and that it's more about the mystery and, like, what's going on? Why is Mrs. Danvers so creepy? I knew she was going to be weird and creepy because, like, I've heard other people talk about this book and stuff, but man, she is so weird. So what's going on with that? How did Rebecca die? What is the situation? I don't know why. I'm not actually totally sure she's dead. Like, I think she is, but for some reason, I keep having this idea that maybe there's, like, a Jane Eyre situation going on here, so I don't know. I guess all of you will be either laughing or going, you were onto something in the comments, because I think most of you have read it. But, like, I want to know what happens, and that's what's keeping me gripped with this book, and that's fantastic, because, as I said, this would not work for me as a romance. Just the way Maxim treats the narrator, and the way they interact, I understand why the narrator feels the way she does. It's not poorly written in that sense that I'm going, I don't get why you're feeling this way, but also I can't buy it as a romance because it just makes me too uncomfortable. That sounds weird. How to phrase that? The character of the narrator is built and constructed, whatever you want to call it, in such a way that all of the decisions she makes, all the things she does, the way she interacts with people, the way she views Maxim, all of that, it makes total sense to me. I get it. I've been there, girl. Haven't we all? But also, as someone who is, I think, slightly older and slightly less naive, I'm also looking at it and going, oh, this is not good. This is not no, sweetie, I understand why you're in love with this man because no one has treated you well and he seems amazing, but like, oh, he is not treating you well. This is not good. And the heartbreaking thing is she's intelligent enough to see it. She's aware already by a few chapters in, like realizing like, oh, what is happening? I want to keep seeing how the relationship develops, but not in like a, ooh, happy, lovely way, in a, oh, what is gonna happen here way. I'm so glad I decided to read this book, and I'm so glad that feels like it might be breaking me out of my slump a bit. I don't know, we'll see. I am gonna pause for now because I don't want to tear through it where I'm doing a buddy read. I feel like it'd be a bit rude to let Michelle wake up in the morning because she's in Australia, so I assume she's asleep right now. It would be a bit rude to let her wake up in the morning and be like, surprise, I read 15 chapters. So I've read 5 chapters today, and I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to read a bit more of The Witch, and I'm excited. It'll be good. That one's really interesting as well. It's not fast-paced and got me like excited to see what's going to happen next, but it is really interesting. I really thought that being outside all morning and going for a big drive, we did a corn maze. Hopefully I've inserted some artful B-roll, although I'm just like not in a creative filming mood this weekend. I really hoped that all of that would have me spending the afternoon just like a lovely, cozy, rainy day with a book, and I'm just not in the mood for it. I don't know why. I've read 2 more chapters of Rebecca and I'm still enjoying it, but I'm just in one of those moods where I don't know what I want to do, but I know it's not what I'm doing right now, and I'm just feeling kind of frustrated with my reading mood right now. Thought I was on such a better track Friday, and then yesterday I was feeling so much better. I was feeling so much more like, yeah, I'm really getting through my reading, I'm really getting into this. And now today I'm just feeling a bit like bleh about it. I just don't feel like I want to read, but I also don't really want to do anything else, and I don't know, it's just frustrating. I'm probably just tired. I should watch some Great British Bake Off and go to bed early or something, but I want to make progress on my reading. I'm feeling like I've got this time. It's great. I want to make the most of it. I want to enjoy it. I want to take the time that I have and actually read the book that I want to be reading, but I don't want to. Hopefully there'll be a clip of me in a little while feeling invigorated and peppy again. Well, some evenings you just need to sit on the couch and watch Great British Bake Off. It's not all book related, but we've just started the new series. We got a bit behind, and so we watched the first 2 episodes of the latest series, and I'm really enjoying it. It was really fun, and just like, yeah, exactly what I actually needed tonight. So I haven't made much reading progress today, which I'm trying not to feel bad about, right? Like, it doesn't help at all to feel guilty about not reading. I just need to focus on doing whatever feels right, and when it's time to read, I will read, and that'll be good. Right now, I am going to try and read a little bit. It's about bedtime, so I'm going to get ready for bed, but I'm going to read The Witch by Ronald Hutton a bit more before bed. This is one of my picks from my October TBR, which I will link up here if I haven't already. So this is like a non-fiction book about the history of witchcraft, but more specifically, the history of the fear of witches. It's very specific, it's very academic, and it's very interesting, but it is not light reading. I'm enjoying it. I want to keep reading it. All good on that front. Highly recommend if it sounds interesting, but don't go in expecting a light, fun, pop history type book, I guess. It's, like I said, it feels very academic, not unapproachable. Like, I don't have any academic background in history or anything. I haven't studied history since high school. So I'm not saying it's academic in like a, you can't understand this if you're not a historian way, just that it's not light, it's not quick, it's very information dense and detailed, and like the There's a lot of analysis and thought that goes into it. As I said, very, very interesting. Fascinating topic. I'm really enjoying how he approaches the subject, and it's hard to describe, but he talks, of course, about the historical primary sources and what's going on in the field and the different ways that these sources are interpreted and the different theories surrounding various topics. But he doesn't just talk about what's going on in the field now. This is a fairly recent release, I think. He also talks about how the field of this study has evolved to get to the current point. So he discusses some of the theories that people had in like the 1800s and the 1900s and stuff, and how the thought and the consensus approach to these topics has evolved over time, and how, for a really long time, this was the accepted theory, and then people started to do more research and look into the sources and try and look at it from a different angle and went, wait, that doesn't actually make any sense. This is probably wrong, and the entire field has shifted. I find it fascinating. I'm finding it, like I said, just so interesting. And also really slow, and it's one of those books that puts me to sleep in like 5 pages. It'll be a miracle if I actually finish it in October, but I'm gonna try and get another chapter read tonight, which is like an hour and a half. And it's not one of those hour and a halves that speeds by and you're like, whoa, I didn't read anything. How is it 2 a.m.? It's, wow, that definitely felt like I was making some progress. So hopefully that'll go well, but this is the end of my weekend. It's, as I said, bedtime on Sunday, so back to work tomorrow, and I guess that means time to close out my weekend reading vlog. I don't have a question for you guys because I didn't think of one in advance, so let me know what you guys did this weekend, and if you guys had a good one. I hope you did. I hope you're all having a fantastic October and doing some great reading. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, including a wrap up at the end of the month where I will hopefully have finished both Rebecca and The Witch, and will give you my full review, thoughts, stuff, make sure you hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.